Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers. It's time for the Lakers. Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers. It's time for the Lakers. Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers. It's time for the Lakers. Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Saturday. And first and foremost, as always, want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, with all that being said, we all know that the Los Angeles Lakers were in action last night at the Crypto.com Arena in downtown Los Angeles to take on the Washington Wizards. And the Lakers were in desperate need of a victory. As we all know, they have lost 9 of the last 13 and have not been looking good at all. And we all know why, all the various different reasons as we break down time in and time out. But all the Lakers, all we keep saying is the Lakers only need a chance. All they need is the opportunity to get into the playoffs. And then at that point, you just never know. I know a lot of people think if the Lakers make it and play Phoenix or Golden State or Memphis in the first round, then that will automatically mean an elimination for them in the first round. But I'm not so quick to say that, because the playoffs is all about matchups. And we all know the Lakers, even though there was a different team, was in front of the Phoenix Suns before Anthony Davis went down. And when you have LeBron James, especially the LeBron James version of LeBron James, the way he played last night, and a healthy Anthony Davis, which is, you know, a lot of people starting to say AD mean always down. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of Anthony Davis. But we know it was just an ankle. It's not like it was a knee, so that did give time for his knee to rest, because his knee was down. And we know it's going to take him a little bit once he gets back to get some, you know, get his wind back and get his legs underneath him. But he should be up for an evaluation here next week sometimes, and hopefully he can get back for the final month of the season, which won't be many games. But I still think the Lakers have an opportunity, and we all know that if they finish in the 9th spot, that they more than likely will have to be playing the Clippers to get into the tournament, the playoffs, and then after that, Minnesota. And that's, of course, the Clippers has been the team that the Lakers have struggled mightily against, and the Clippers always get up to play against LA, and no doubt they will be ready for a game. And what could be better? The battle of LA, between who will make it to the playoffs. Now, wouldn't it be something with all that jazz that Reggie Jackson and everybody talked, and all that ish they talked to the Lakers, if they were to lose and then lose again and not even make it into the playoffs? But we know Kawhi Leonard is in waiting, and we know that Paul George is about to be reevaluated. And Kawhi Leonard put up quite a bit of a sweat the other night before he entered the game. But enough about the Clippers, because, you know, that's not what we're here to focus on. How about we focus on the 50-piece that LeBron James dropped last night? How about we focus on that? Because that's what you call a whole house. You understand what I'm saying? Back when I used to play dominoes, when I used to just take people money every day, and people used to line up to play, they used to call me the great champion of all time on the domino table. So when they used to line up to play the great champion of all time, and I bet you, you know, 20 for 10 or whatever you want to bet when you came against me, then that's what I'd be counting on your head, a 50-piece. Give me a whole house in one session. And I'm not even talking about diming you up. I'm talking about right at the end when I say, domino, give me the nifty 50. And that's what LeBron James dropped last night, a nifty 50, swifty and quickly on y'all dome piece. And everybody keeps saying, oh, he watched this and that. But the sad thing about it is, it took every bit of those 50 for the Lakers to beat a struggling Wizards team who themselves are vying for a playoff position. Now, one thing I will say about Coach Vogel is the lineup, the rotations are better. Not seeing Trevor Ariza, it seems like he's learning, he's listening, he's learning. Now you see LeBron James started at center, and you see what happened. The Wizards was forced to have to go small, because even with Porzingis in the lineup, and even though he has size and can shoot over damn near anybody he wants to, they were forced to have to go a little bit smaller, because they could not handle the presence of LeBron James being in on the defensive side of the floor playing center, because Porzingis is not going to be able to guard LeBron, especially out on the perimeter. So that caused a lot of issues and limited Porzingis minutes, who still is a very effective scorer in this league, especially once he can get going. And he is a stretch center himself because he's more than capable of hitting three-point shots. However, he is not really a stretch defender. That's something he can't do. And one thing I did notice, who the Lakers do have, who is a stretch defender, who I'd like to see more minutes from, even though he was a total of a -2, was Wayne. My main Wayne last night. You know, the newly acquired, him and DJ Augustine, of course, but Augustine didn't have any points last night, but he didn't need to. But Wayne actually, correct me if I'm saying his name wrong, but y'all know who I'm talking about. He had a crucial three in crunch time, and you know, he's not afraid to shoot the three, but the main thing is he has length to be able to play defense. He has the IQ to be able to switch out or be able to play you straight up. So if another team is going big, you know, even though he's not the tallest, nowhere near 7-footer, might be 6'9", 6'10", if I'm not mistaken, but because of the length that he has with his wingspan, he is more than capable of defending at that position and also switching out and playing some decent perimeter at that position. And it looks like he can actually is capable of hitting threes. So even Vogel said after the game that they're very intrigued, was his word, by him, and they felt the Wizards was a team that they could actually throw him out there and just get more evaluation out of. We'll see if he gets any playing time with Sunday night against Phoenix. I would hope so, because I just don't really see LeBron James lining up against DeAndre Ayton, who has much more size, but who knows? They might want to go small, and then that can force Phoenix into going small. Who knows? But that's just something that they need to look at, and it's going to be a game that they really do need to pay attention to for film sessions, because I highly feel that that is going to be the Lakers' first-round matchup. Even though the Clippers, you all, they got a tough stretch coming up. The Clippers, just within the next week and a half, they got to play Utah twice. They got Toronto. They got Cleveland. They got Milwaukee. They got Utah twice. They got some tough teams on the schedule. I want to say they got Golden State again, but regardless of the fact, I know they got Cleveland, so they got some tough teams coming up for the next couple of weeks. So it's not even impossible. The Lakers are only 3.5 games back of that spot, so it's not at all possible that they couldn't get that spot, because quite frankly, I would rather for the Lakers to have that 8th spot and only have to win 1 game than have that 9th spot and have to win 2 games, because they can get the 8th spot and win, then they can solidify themselves, you know, as the 8th seed, as the 7th seed perhaps, because Minnesota would have to then play. I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around how this works, but if I'm not mistaken, when you are 9th and 10th, you have to win 2 games just to get the 8th spot. You understand what I'm saying? But if you are 7th and 8th, you could either fall. If you are 8th, you could get 7th, or you could get 8th. It just all depends, because if you lose, you still have another chance if you're in the 8th spot. But if you're in the 9th or 10th spot and you lose once, then that's a done dollar for you. I'm pretty sure that's the way it goes. But still got plenty of time. Like I said, if LeBron James can continue to play like this, the thing about it is, one thing I do want to point out is, you know, the last game, he had a horrible game. It was horrific. I was even on him. He shot 1 out of 9 for 3. He didn't play very well, and that was a game in which Russell Westbrook scored 30. So I'm like, damn, why can they not both play well together at the same time? Like, so LeBron come out last night and give you 50, and then Russell Westbrook give you what, 5 points? What, 1 out of 11? 1 out of 11 for like what, 10%? 18%, 2 out of 11, whatever he was, 2 out of 11 for 18% for Russell Westbrook last night. When you had all the other, you had 4 different Lakers players in double digits, which was a good sign. Austin Reeves was in double digits. He shot 6 out of 10, 60% for the game. Malik Monk, he was on fire. He contributed. He shot 66% for the game, gave you 21 points. Of course, LeBron James was in double digits with the nifty 50. And THT, even though he didn't shoot above 50%, he still shot 45% for the game, which was not bad. And then as a team, the team only had 7 turnovers, which was great. LeBron had 3 turnovers. I think Russ might only have 1 turnover. And while Russ did not have a great game scoring-wise, he still had 9 assists. You know, he had 9 assists, which the Lakers desperately needed because he was getting others involved. But if Austin Reeves can shoot efficiently, and Malik Monk, who has been kind of streaky, if he can stay consistently shooting, you know, hit at least drop 3 or 4 threes a game, that's what the Lakers need from him. I like to see him in that starting lineup. I do like the lineup that they're playing with now. Once Anthony Davis comes back, the big decision for Frank Vogel will be who is going to go to the bench. That is going to be the big decision for Frank Vogel. Will it be Stanley Johnson? Will you move LeBron James from the 5 to the 4 spot? Let AD play the 5, LeBron play the 4, and then keep keep Austin Reeves and Malik Monk on the floor together with Westbrook. I'm under the mindset that might be the way to go, because the Lakers, while their defense isn't great, at times they can go a lot of stretches without getting buckets. So you definitely don't want to start the game being down. And when you have Austin Reeves and Malik Monk on the floor together with LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis, you have 5 players who are all capable of scoring. Malik Monk can take people off the dribble and get his own. Austin Reeves, although not as good as Malik Monk, is taking people off the dribble, more of a spot-up shooter, but he is more than capable of cutting and getting to the lane and playing without the basketball to get his as well. And then, of course, we all know what LeBron James and Anthony Davis are capable of doing, and we know what Russell Westbrook is capable of doing. Just hopefully he can do better. It's like time and time again, he is not finishing at the rim. And I saw some idiot say on Twitter that LeBron James is not good as KD because KD made Russ better. Look how much dum-dums. Russell Westbrook plays off athleticism. He plays off athleticism. He was much more athletic at a younger age than he is now at the age of, 33 or 34. So get the dope out your brain. Put the hope into your brains. Keep telling y'all that. But back to what I'm saying about LeBron James. The night he had was phenomenal. It's just sad to say that the Lakers needed damn near every bit of that. And the crazy thing about it, LeBron only had 17 going into halftime, and then he came out and dropped 33 in the second half. And at one point in the third quarter, 12 points in a row, and during that stretch is what gave the Lakers the lead. And basically they never looked back after that. And you know, people like Skip Bayless, the haters, saying, "Oh, look at LeBron talking out." Listen, if you dropping 50, show emotion. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Just show no emotion at all? If you into it, you into it. And plus, it's emotional for him because he going against Kyle Kuzma, his former teammate, as well as KCP, and he trying to show them something. He's like, there's no way he was going to go out and lose to them. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard somebody say on Twitter, who was at the game, that Kuz had hit a shot on LeBron or something and gave him that wink like, what's happening? And then LeBron said, no. So he had to show Kuzma, you know, you're still just a young pup. Welcome to the big dog. You know what I'm saying? So that's what LeBron James did. And another thing he did that was outstanding was he went 8 for 8 from the free throw line. So you know, if LeBron James is making his free throws, then he is really in a groove. And he definitely made up for that poor performance the other night, 1 from 9 from the 3-point line. He definitely made up for that, and actually shot 6 out of 9 last night from 3, 5 out of 9 from 3 last night, which was 55-60%, somewhere in there, which is a great clip. So if LeBron James can consistently do that and stop having these bad games where he's terrible from 3, what I wish he would do is when he's having these bad games when the 3 is not falling, is just stop shooting. If it's not falling, stop shooting them, because those very same shots you could be using to get to the rim and finish at the rim or make plays for others. And that's what we need to continue to see. So I still have faith that the Lakers are capable of going out and winning games, even against competition. You saw what they did against Golden State, even though LeBron James needed 56. Just need THT to be consistent. He didn't take any threes last night. He took smarter shots. He got to the basket and shot a decent clip last night. So the Lakers could ever get Kendrick Nunn, which it just don't seem like that's going to happen. They kept saying February. They kept saying March. So it'll be April. I mean, I don't know. He might not even suit it up. They might just be like, well, why risk the re-injury and give him a setback, especially this late in the season, especially when we have to try to get him in and get acclimated to build chemistry with the other players. So that may just not happen. But anyway, a great game for LeBron James. Like I said, 50 points, only 3 turnovers. Westbrook needs you to get it together a little bit. Westbrook, you're not scoring efficiently enough consistently. Like last game you had 30. Can you at least go out and, don't have these dud games where it's been a lot of games this season where you only had 5 points, 6 points. Scoring in single digits, like, it's unacceptable. I know you might not be in a rhythm, and it seems like he plays better away now because of all the home crowd and the people who taunted him and said things to him. So he just needs to, show a stronger mentality. And I like what LeBron James said last night. He said the Lakers fans, they have earned the right to boo, and if they want to boo, then let them boo, because they've earned that right. And if you're playing trash, then that's what your team can do. I believe in, lifting your team up, not tearing them down. But at some point, you had that right to boo. You play good money, and if they're not giving you a superior product on the floor of what you paid your good money for, then you had that right, just like LeBron said. So that just shows you a stronger mentality. And he even alluded to what I said the other day about how he eats, sleeps, and drinks basketball. Always inundated with it every single day. And that's something that maybe Russ just isn't, because he says when he's away from the court, he takes his mind and everything away from that, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But when you're playing bad, you need to get yourself together. It's just been unfortunate that, we could not see the full product of the Lakers this year, with Kendrick Nunn being hurt, as well as Anthony Davis missing a ton of games. I mean, he missed all the games at first, with the knee. First he had the fever, missed games, then he had the knee and missed a ton of games. Then after he come back from the knee, remember he hurt his wrist and then missed the next game, and then come back from that, and then now it's the ankle. So it's just like, man, it's missing so many games. How can you really truly evaluate the Lakers if their second best player has been injured more than half of the year? And people want to get on LeBron James. Oh, his record won't be as Jordan as a Wizard. Man, who cares? Because if they get into that play-in game and make some noise, it might be something the league might be trying to teach LeBron James a lesson too, because they hadn't been getting the calls. And I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but what was they saying? LeBron kept saying, I hate the play-in game. Whoever made this is dumb as hell. But now they said, okay, now you're going to need that play-in game this year. You're going to be glad they had it. So at the end of the day, we all know the Lakers know what they got to do. Be back at you maybe for the pregame against Phoenix on Sunday, who will be playing without Chris Paul. So we shall see how this goes. And as always, man, just want to say right on to the real, and much love to these haters. I'm out.